Obviously, since there are a lot of questions surrounding how this whole process works, blogs have been appearing online ever since the word got out that Real Deal Poker was going to hit the internet. Some of the questions come from Og's Exorcist on cardschat.com. First question, are you seriously going to have machines shuffling physical decks of cards for every single hand that is dealt on your site?
All right, let me pull some. Let me pull something up here. I'll go back here. Right to here. Every game, every deck of cards that gets delivered at a table goes through this process. This is the actual deal of the cards where we capture the video, create a record. This is the scrambling process that replicates the wash. This is the shuffle process. Every game that gets a deck of cards delivered to it in this system goes through this process. You have a scramble, you have a shuffle, and you have a deal, and a video capture and a digital record. Those are the duplicate records. Those are the controls that are in place to assure that every game played gets a deck of cards, gets a scrambled, shuffled deck of cards.
Okay, another question I found interesting was question number 5 from the same guy. I assume as your site grows, you need to add more shuffling machines to cope with the demand. Got a pretty big warehouse or something, do you?
Well, yeah, that's really funny. You know, this is people assuming that they know anything about how a system can work. This is the number of combinations in a 52 card deck. It's not an infinite number. It's a finite number. It just happens to be a really big number. Well, what I guarantee is that we are going to deliver one of these unique combinations to every game that we deal. And we're going to do it by scrambling and shuffling the deck, and we're going to let the players cut it before it's done.
Okay. Question number 9. Having a player cut the deck carries with it the implication that the shuffle could not be trusted in the first place. Seriously, it's only done in games where the dealer/shuffler is also a player. Are you concerned about what this says about your site and the confidence you're inspiring in your shuffle method?
Well, to begin with, in a game in a casino where the house has the dealer, that dealer cuts every deck before he deals it. There's two things that we've tried to take every precaution to eliminate any possibility for manipulation of the game that we know about or maybe don't know about. Adding a cut and replicating what a dealer at a table does and putting the players in control of the results of the game seems like a good alternative to not doing anything.
A unique deck is sent to the game table. The player with the dealer button must exercise the cut option and then initiation of the gameplay. This provides a reshuffle from that spot to the next game, basically. Now, we saw that when you were playing. Mm-hmm. His question is, again, wants to know about the size of the warehouse to pull this off. It all goes back to the speed of the game.
Well, you know, what it is that most people are just capable of linear thinking. You know, in order to do this, there is only 3 ways that this can be done, that what we've done can be done. 1, you can put a machine at every table. That's one option. That's extremely expensive and cost prohibitive. The other way is you could assort every combination of a 52 card deck as a 2 kilobyte file. The problem with doing that is that the number of terabyte servers that you would need to store this many combinations of 2 kilobyte files would cover the surface of Venus. That's not very practical. This is doing the same thing. What we do, we've got a third alternative that apparently nobody ever thought of that's just as effective in either of these 2 methods. And why I say nobody's ever thought of it is because we've got 4 patents issued on our process. And so obviously we found a way to do it. You know, you have to keep in mind, I did this as a card player for card players that were concerned about the fairness of the games online. I did it to eliminate any question of the fairness. That's the total purpose of our existence. That's the reason we got started. That's why we're here.
Burn cards are intended to prevent someone from making the cards and thereby knowing the exact card to be dealt. Again, this is not an issue in online poker. I still don't see this actually solves anything. The act of burning the first card.
You know, all it does is it replicates the game you see in a casino. That's all it's for. We set out to make the game as close as possible to the game that people are used to seeing with a real deck of cards. That we deal real decks of cards. This is the same game that you see in any place where you deal real decks of cards. Yeah, it doesn't change the odds in a game. It changes the results because you've got 3 cards that are taken out of play that with the game that exists today, you don't have.
And you still stand behind it? Your bet still stands?
My best, if you don't think our game is fair, bet me $50. I'll bring in a third party to audit the game. If they cannot satisfy themselves that you receive the deck of cards, one and only one. Each game that calls for that is played gets one and only one specific deck that's going to be in use. If that auditor can't verify that's the deck that you got, I'll pay you 100 times your money. You bet me $50. If they can't prove it, I'll give you $5,000. If they can, I get you $50.